to what I have to say. And that is, wear a mask, everybody. Come on now. It's 2020. We realize that this is probably the worst year on humans' history record. You know, this planet would take care of itself if there weren't any people on it. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Aristotle. What's up? What's how, man? You're the first one here. Don't tell anybody we're here. It's just you and me. All right? It's going to be great. It's going to be a great day. Grab your coffee, swallow your own saliva, and launch right into it. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about musicians who are also actors, who are also musicians, who are also actors at the same time they do music while they're acting as musicians. I think it's a pretty cool talent to be all of the above. Hey, what's up, Kelsey? How are you today? Welcome. We're talking about actor-musicians and musicians who are actors and which one's which. I feel like, as a musician myself, there's been like this whole thing, perhaps in your whole life, as either or, one or the other. You go, hey, I could do that. I already know how to do music. I could probably do acting. And actors, sadly, think the same thing about music. It's a thing that we do. We pretend that because we're good at one thing, we can be good at the other thing. Sometimes it's true. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes you have a Cher. Sometimes you have a Donald Glover. I would say that Jamie Foxx also. Sometimes you have a Jennifer Hudson. She's great. She's a wonderful talent. She can do music. She can sing. She can act. She's just wonderful. I remember watching that season of American Idol, where Jennifer Hudson came in like 4th. She didn't even win that year. I think it was I forget who that was. No worries, everybody. Everybody stop the presses. Veronica is here. Now we can all relax. She's arrived. Well, welcome, everybody. I'm very excited to see you. Guess what? I didn't even have my intro music. What am I even thinking? That's not that exciting. You don't have your intro music. What are you even doing? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, that's exciting, huh? All right. That's the sound of 3 people making lots of noise. That was like I call that a soft opening to a show. Little side chat. Then we start playing some music. This really does set the tone, I think. It gets us pumped, it gets us amped up, gets us ready to talk about movies and music and how they work together. In my life, I've always considered them pretty much the same thing. Hey, Cyborg Ghana. Cyborgs are great, you know. Out of all my favorite roboticized objects, cyborgs are probably my top. I wish I was a cyborg, actually. What's your favorite cyborg movie? You know, there are a lot of movies with musicians that are also... they're also, you know, science fiction kind of movies. Like David Bowie is in, he's in The Man Who Fell to Earth. He's in like a bunch of movies. Also, you've got Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger is also, he's not a good actor though. The Terminator. Terminator is great. All of the Terminators, all the way up to Terminator 2, are great. Thank you for tuning in. I'm just kind of hanging out here. We're all trickling in. I'm glad we are. It's good to see you guys. Happy Monday. This week we celebrate what? America's independence from England. But were we truly independent? Was the 4th of July, does that mark the Independence Day for every American? No. Juneteenth. Juneteenth was the true liberation day of all Americans. And then, furthermore, women got the right to vote about 100 years ago, so we should probably just mark Suffrage Day as the true day of independence. Of American independence, that is. Hey, Colleen. T1 has epic music. Yes, welcome, everybody. Welcome, Colleen. We were just discussing how the true Independence Day of America should be women's suffrage. Eddie Murphy and Bruce Willis, hands down, are your favorite musicians who are actors. Eddie Murphy, yeah. We learned from Jimmy James Cordova last time that Eddie Murphy is, in fact, I mean, I knew that he was a musician. I knew that he did music, but I wouldn't consider him my favorite musician. But he definitely can sing. He definitely can do all of those things. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to have like a steady stream of music in the background, because that might be cool. These are the demo versions of these songs, so that I don't get a copyright strike from my own band. I would have to go into the thing and say, no, it's okay for me to use my own song. I would literally have to do that manually, and I don't want to do that right now. I just want to have it playing in the background. The demo versions. These are the recordings that we made before we recorded the song, so that we had a really good idea of what the recording should sound like, and then we went in and recorded it proper. So this will not match up on any kind of like automatic strike. Oh, and this is just the instrumental version, so that's even better. Andy Samberg and the Lonely Island. They got some genuine good songs. I would say that Andy Samberg. I would say that they're goofy though, aren't they? Like, I see what you're saying, because I'm on a boat. All right, I'm on a boat. Don't you ever forget. I'm on a boat. That's what this song is called, right here. I'm on a boat. I dig this. This is giving like a new vibe to the show. Do you guys what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the background music? I'd say myself, where I'd like to be Jabberwock Nuevi says, I'm not where I'd like to be quite yet. You know what? That's an interesting thing you say there, that you're not where you want to be quite yet. Does that ever happen? Is anybody ever where they want to be? Because if you are, then you could just like go to sleep. You could be like, well, I'm done here. I got there, I arrived. So guess what? You're on a journey, and you should. And I suggest I shouldn't offer unsolicited advice, but I suggest you just say, hey, you know, I like this journey that I'm on. I'm digging what I'm in. I'm digging what I'm doing. You guys remember this part from Call of Duty? So you're on a journey. Enjoy the journey. Janelle Monáe, there you go. That's a good one. See, I think what I was thinking for this show, more along the lines of people who have a professional music career as like actual charting artists, if you want to like, I mean, culturally relevant artists. Not that the Chronicles of Narnia isn't one of my favorite songs ever, but you know, I'm talking about, you know, like mainstream musicians who are also mainstream, not as a goof. They like make genuine. I mean, listen, I keep catching myself every time I talk because I want to like to sort of discredit the Lonely Island, but I'm not discrediting them. I'm saying what they did was specifically for the function of a TV show to make you laugh, whereas other people want to make your booty shake. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Let me see what this demo sounds like. I'm gonna just play random demos in the background. Oh, I can't locate that one. So let's just see what plays next. Probably the same song. Oh, this one's a good one. Lonely Island has collaborated with everyone. You're right, you know. The Lonely Island collaborates with everybody. You know who else is an amazing collaborator? The dude who did the music for The Mandalorian. Did you guys watch the behind the scenes of The Mandalorian? Specifically episode 7, where they talk about how they made up all the music. This guy's name is like Jan Jorgensen or something. Composer for Mandalorian. He actually is a collaborator. Yeah, Ludwig, dude. You know what I'm talking about, lady, dude. I don't know if you're a lady or a dude, but yes, my man, Ludwig Göransson. That guy is awesome. He collaborates with a lot of
mainstream artist, and also did the music for The Mandalorian and had never scored anything before. But the score, how good is that score? It was out of left field, that score. Amazing. He also co-wrote a lot of songs with Childish Gambino. One of my favorite songs, probably to come out in the last 10 years, Redbone. It was on the song. That was on the soundtrack for the movie Get Out. That's the main song for Get Out. So check that out. You know what I'm saying? What are you guys thinking about this whole music vibe going on in the background? Trent Reznor, yeah, there you go. Trent Reznor, but he's not an actor, but he does scores. So this is cool. People who cross over, I think, should be maybe the main idea here that we're zeroing in on. Hi, Mom. And my father's here, too. This is like a family affair. Maybe they're all just checking in on me. Let's make sure that he's in his padded room. He's doing all right. It's okay. I get fed like 3 times a day. They just put a tray under my door, and I'm good. Anderson.paak, man. I got to tell you, I worked earlier this year. I was fortunate enough to be booked in a commercial as a talent, as an on-screen talent, as they say, which means I should be still getting some royalties. Just saying. Residuals, as it were, as an actor. I worked with Anderson.paak. Okay? Now, Anderson.paak, if you watched the BET Awards last night like I did, he had a really good performance, insanely good performance. Dude's a talented guy. He was in sorry, I just heard myself play a bad note on this demo and got upset. I was like, what was I thinking? Yeah, I got to work with Anderson.paak, and he was hilarious, this guy. And he's in the commercial. It's for Jameson. You could probably Google it. It's on YouTube and whatnot. And he is one incredible musician, this guy. I actually watched his Tiny Desk concert on NPR about 3 or 4 years ago. And the dude has got groove. He's got funk. He's got soul. He can rap. He can write. He's one of the few rare talented artists out there. You've also got, mark my words, I think that not just because I think the world is going to come around to Anderson.paak to a new levels pretty soon. I think he's like breaking through a plateau, and he's going to be noticed on a whole new level, because that dude is talented. He is hella talented. You know what I'm saying? So we're just going to let these play, these songs, and figure out, oh, these are songs that never got finished. Well, that song did. Let's say, I always think of you when I see Anderson.paak's name. You should always think of me and conflate me with his level of talent. I think that's kind of what I was trying to do. It's just trying to hope some of his shine rubbed off on me, because the guy has got like 10 levels of he's like a layer cake of talent. He is like a set. Every year during Christmas, my mom makes lasagna. She makes one special for me with no meat, because I'm a vegetarian. I lived in Los Angeles long enough to become a vegetarian, which was didn't take long. It was like 3 years. You come here, and all of a sudden you become you love animals, and you want to make world peace. And it turns out, I'll get to that. Every year my mom makes a lasagna sandwich. She makes a lasagna. It's not a lasagna sandwich. And it's many layers of good. There's like cheese and ricotta, as they say. And then there's mozzarella, as they say. And then there's the lasagna noodle. And then you make several layers of this. Just imagine that's the kind of levels of talent that Anderson.paak has. Like a deep dish lasagna of levels of talent. Was thinking about The Social Network an hour ago. Speaking of Trent Reznor and terrible actor musician named Justin Timberlake. Is he terrible though? Because he started out on the Mickey Mouse Club, Justin Timberlake, and he's kind of always been performing, right? I mean, I guess Britney Spears also did. I guess they just hired those kids because they could sing. But wait, you know who else started out there? Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling, does he sing? Yeah, I guess he was in La La Land. Kinda sang, right? I think he gave up the singing part. You're very wary of plant-based protein. You have to be very wary of plant-based protein. Protein, I was going to say. I don't even know what that means. Well, you know, everyone should be wary about that. It just sounds like it doesn't sound like it's a viable option in life. It sounds like a made-up thing, doesn't it?
Dr. Fauci, Dr. Baby Yoda Fauci says, always eat your plant-based protein, but get it from animals first. Always eat your plant-based protein from lizards and snakes in the jungle, in the swamp.
I have no idea what he means by that. Yeah, soy. Soy is Spanish for I am. So if you eat a soy burger, you're saying I am a burger. Yeah, you gotta watch out for soy. Don't eat that soy. Don't toy with soy. Yeah, guys. We've got all kinds of things happening in the world right now. I'm sorry, I'm these demos might be too distracting. Jamie Foxx. You are what you eat. Soy. Soybean. We got Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez is controversial, though, as a musician. She's an incredible dancer. She is a credible actor. Her singing. I'm not gonna out her on the singing, but I know. Well, I am. That's what you say right before you out somebody. I'm not gonna out her. I'm not gonna tell you about it. But there's like Out of Sight. You bring up Out of Sight, so I'll drop that subject. You bring up Out of Sight, which is a movie based on an Elmore Leonard novel, which was also has the character played by Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton, Jimmy James Cordova's favorite actor. He plays a cop in Out of Sight. He also plays that same exact character in Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown, Jackie Brown is an adaptation of an Elmore Leonard novel. Look at that. How do you even do that? That could be a whole other episode where you're like, actors who come back as the same character, or the same character who comes back as a different actor. That happens more often. But like Harvey Dent was played by Billy D. Williams in the original Batman. FBI agent. That's what I said. I said he was an FBI agent cop, police officer, military sergeant from the Soldier Marines. I think that's how that's his ranking. He was in the 2nd Battalion, 3rd Battalion, 2nd Battalion Marines, Air Force, Navy. That was a callback. That was a callback to Trading Places in the very beginning, where Eddie Murphy was being approached by the police for soliciting money from strangers. What's trending, ladies and gentlemen? Tom Waits. Is Tom Waits even a musician? Dennis Farina made fun of him for wearing an FBI t-shirt. Dennis Farina is an actor, though. Did his character make fun of him, or did Dennis Farina make fun of him? What's up, Tatiana? Welcome. Jake A, hello. Have I mentioned Zooey Deschanel yet? I've not mentioned Zooey Deschanel, but she is on the list, Jake. I was going to get to her. I don't know. She was married to the singer from Death Cab for Cutie forever, Ben Gibbard. Not forever, for like momentarily. Guys, the difference between the words momentarily and presently are like reversed usually. People often say momentarily. I'll be there momentarily. Momentarily just means for a second. And I'll be there presently means in a second. So like usually people like reverse that. I don't know what that is. Keanu Reeves is on this list, but Keanu Reeves is got more of a charm than he has talent as music or anything. He can put together a gun on camera. I watched him do it in John Wick 3. I like Keanu Reeves, but you know, his bass playing, as a bass player myself, you know, if you guys watch Davey 504 on YouTube. He's a bass player, and he's a genius bass player, and he like talks about bass playing and breaks down celebrity bassists, and Keanu Reeves is one of them, and I agree with his assessment. So go check out his video of Davey 504, I think it's Davey 504, making the talk, not making fun of, talking about celebrity bass players, and one of them being Keanu Reeves. So if you ever want to know my opinion on Keanu Reeves' bass playing, watch him talk about it. I'm not going to tell you whether it's good or bad. Zooey Deschanel, we'll talk about her for a second. She does those like little ukulele songs with her and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I remember those songs. And she kind of has that like, that whimsical, that little whimsical like, la 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 la, I'd like to sing little songs. I actually worked with Zooey Deschanel once, which was brief. It was momentary. It was momentary. She showed up. I was a stand-in at Fox for the fall preview, and she showed up with her group of people, and then they all walked in, and then she walked out. It was like literally like she was in there for 3 minutes filming her part, and then she left with her train of like entourage. It was kind of, she had like a bubble, like a sphere of human beings protecting her from like any kind of interaction. So either she's like super, you can look at it two ways. You can say like, this person is super narcissistic and inside their own world and doesn't want anyone to talk to them, or don't look me in eye. Never look me in eye. That's what, you can look at it that way, or you can say this woman wishes not to interact with anyone, but she also wants to make a big production out of it. Anyway, Zooey Deschanel, musician, actor. I don't know why Bruce Willis is on this list, but David Bowie is definitely a musician, actor. She's part of She and Him. Yes, that is true. I do know that band. If I told you once. Lady Gaga, ladies and gentlemen. But Zooey Deschanel, I like her voice. I think she's a good singer. I think that she was married to Ben Gibbard from from Death Cab for Cutie, which is cool. He does a couple bands. He's got Death Cab for Cutie, and he's also got the Postal Service, which is a great concept for a band, guys. Especially in today's world, the Postal Service is structured around this way of Ben Gibbard and his collaborator. I should know Ben Gibbard's collaborator. But they send each other demos. Ben Gibbard and D. Nutella. D. Intel. It's like Intel, but with a D in the first. They send each other music, and they live in different locations, and then they add parts to the song, and then they send it back to the other person, and then they add parts to the song, and then they send it back and forth. So it's called the Postal Service. I don't know if they send it through the actual post, but they add to the songs that way, and it's really cool concept. And hey, what's up, Shy? Welcome. Queen Latifah. How do we not mention Queen Latifah? That's a unity. UNITY. Thank you, Khalid, for bringing up Queen Latifah. Dana Owens, for anybody who doesn't know. She's from Long Island. Queens Latifah. I've been watching Queen Latifah since the 90s on TV. Sorry, listening to the music while we're talking. You can buy this music, the actual recordings of these songs. You know, I should mention this more, because right now we're in a pandemic, and I live in Los Angeles and I live in Hollywood, and it's closed. It's closed. There's very small sets working right now, very few and far between. If you guys watched the BET Awards last night, there was no awards. There was just kind of like music videos that were shot in the desert with 5 people, because that's basically all of the work that's going around right now. So I don't have any work currently professionally as a actor or a set photographer. There's nothing happening. So if you guys want to support your team, you could go to Veda.com and purchase this music. or look us up on Spotify and just play it. Just play the music, and then the royalties actually generate over time. So VAEDA. The Wahlberg brothers. That is... Killeen's digging deep right now. So we're going back to like New Kids on the Block and Marky Mark. We got Donnie and Marky Wahlberg's Marky Mark. How many marks is it? It's like 14 Markies. Marky Mark. Wahlberg. It's such a good vibration. Would you consider Marky Mark an actual musician, though? Or was he like, my brother can sing, I can't sing, so I'll rap? Now that is not to take away the musicianship of rappers, okay? I would like to clarify that. Rappers are rhythmic lyricists that are also musically talented. However, sometimes pitch is not in their wheelhouse. So they're not really pitching, they're not really singing. But as we mentioned before, Anderson.Paak is able to do all of the things. He could play the piano, he could play the drummies, he could sing the singers, he could rap the rappers. The dude can play all the things. Zooey Deschanel, she could play the ukulele, I guess, and sing. She's got a very chill, relaxing, soothing tones. But, you know, there's also, why is Kanye West? Kanye West doesn't act. We're talking about Queen Latifah. Now that's a musician. She's got songs from the 80s and the 90s, and then she's been in movies. That's a person who you go, all right, none of the rules of the world. She has overcome all of the rules of the planet Earth. She's just decided to become who she is. And with a lot of things working against her in society. Dana Owens, I'm talking about. She's had a lot of work working against her, but she's made it work. Jack Black. Anyone mention Jack Black? Cher. I think I mentioned Cher right at the top of the show because I think Cher is one of the first. Cher and Bette Midler. And, Lena Horne. You got, like, so many people back in the day, back in the Dizzy, who were like, that was the thing. You sang and you danced and you acted. That was what you did. You were a performer. Elvis Presley is in, like, 567 movies. You guys might not have known that. You might just think of Beach Blanket Bingo. That's Annette Funicello. I'm sorry. But, Elvis Presley, that guy was a musician for sure. He was not the king of rock and roll. Let it be known, lest there be some confusion that Elvis Presley was the king of rock and roll. He was titled that. It was like saying that George W. Bush was the president, and when we all knew it was Dick Cheney. And in this analogy, Dick Cheney will be played by Chuck Berry. No. He got all his moves. Yeah, Barbra Streisand, Tatiana. That might be the most iconic musician / Oscar-winning actor and fabulous director. Guys, what has Barbra Streisand done lately? I know what she did. She was in the news lately because she donated a bunch of her stock in Disney to George Floyd's daughter as a college fund. How cool is that? Barbra Streisand was like, I'm going to give you some money when you turn 18, and you're going to have this money because what that little girl has to grow up in, the world that she has to grow up in without her father, and the reason that she doesn't have her father, she should not have to worry about a goddamn thing for the rest of her life, in my opinion. I think, and that's my opinion. Donald Glover, yes. We were talking about earlier. We were talking about Childish Gambino, one of my favorite, and of course Jan Jorgensen's one of his collaborators, the guy who did the soundtrack for The Mandalorian. Guys, you know that that whole bit in The Mandalorian is played on a bass recorder. All right, Now wrap your mind around this. Remember in 7th grade when you had to go to music class and they gave you a recorder and they were like, blow into this, and if you blew too hard it just made a loud screech and you were like, ow, my ears, this class sucks, ta ta ti ti ta. You click in the wood blocks, you know what I'm talking about? Click in the wood block, the recorder, and you gotta like, I hate music for some reason. No. You hated music because you had to play the recorder. I remember in my recording, like 4th grade, we took the recorders out of little alcohol buckets. So we just would play the recorders all day that were in people's mouths. But they stuck them in alcohol, so I guess that's sanitary enough. But that opening sound in The Mandalorian, the do-do-do-do, that's a gigantic bass recorder. So they make recorders in several different registers, and the reason I didn't know this is because I didn't care to know this. But Jan Jorgensen, I'm sorry, I keep messing up his name, and I should learn it because he's a cool musician. I'm gonna commit it to memory right now. Ludwig Göransson, which means his father was Goran. Ludwig Göransson. Ludwig Göransson's musician, like his playing the bass recorder for that opening part is so cool. So now the bass recorder has become an iconic instrument, unbeknownst to like all recorder players. People like who play the recorder are like, this is my day to play. I play the recorders. John Denver acted. Michael Fassbender. All right, now, Colleen, you just brought up Michael Fassbender, who is in Frank. You know what I love about Frank? That movie? I'm going to read you the synopsis of it. It's one of those movies where I love it. I love it unabashedly. It is one of my favorite movies that has ever been created. If you watch it, you may or may not identify with it. It came out in 2014. The synopsis is, a young aspiring musician finds himself far out of his element after he joins an eccentric pop group led by the enigmatic Frank, who wears a giant fake head. As the band prepared to record their debut album, their personal issues generate tension. Now, Frank is played by Michael Fassbender. You may or may not find Michael Fassbender an attractive man, but the entire movie, that regardless of that, he wears a giant papier-mâché head of like a cartoon head. And he's actually based on a real dude named like Frank something. He's actually based on a real character, like a UK musician, like Frank Foggybottom or something. Let's see. Now, I love this movie so much. Frank Sidebottom. If you Google Frank Sidebottom and you go down this rabbit hole with me, you will start to maybe appreciate what I appreciate about this movie. The movie gets like maybe like an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe. I don't even know. But it is... I can find that out for you. No, it's got 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. So there are more people in the general... Audience score 72. Fair enough. Critics score 92. That's... more along the line. I'm a critic, so I can concur. I would say that it's my favorite movie ever, and I give it a 92%. Wrap your head around that. Johnny Cash, excellent point brought up by my father. Johnny Cash was also in movies. He was never in Folsom Prison. But he sang about being in Folsom Prison, 2 Folsom prisoners, and they were like, yeah, you were never here. And he was like, but I can imagine what it's like. I'm Johnny Cash. I can imagine it sucks. Getting back to the movie Frank, I really do like the movie so much. It's my favorite movie, and I give it definitely like a solid B+, or maybe an A-. Listen, I'm dichotomous like that. That movie brings me so much joy. The actors in that movie Domhnall Gleeson, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and the folks from frickin' I don't know why my brain is breaking, but it's one of my favorite bands. Let's see. Hold on a second. Carla Azar. She's dope. She is in Autolux. That's the band. Now check out Autolux. They're dope. She's the drummer for Autolux. She's in the movie Frank. She's a real actual musician. So we're talking about musicians who are actors and actors who are musicians. And she's an actual musician. And her, another guy, I think the guitar player from Autolux also is in the movie. Yes. And they're both in the movie Frank as part of the bands and as actors. Oh, this dude is just an actor. So the cool thing about that movie is that some of them are actors, some of them are musicians, but they all performed the songs. They actually played the music. If you can Google this clip of Stephen Colbert, the Stephen Colbert show, where the band from the movie Frank, the actors, are in character on the show performing the songs from the movie live. And Michael Fassbender never takes off his big Frank helmet. So you never see Michael Fassbender. You just hear him singing I Love You All, and it's one of my favorites. I'm going to just bang on about that movie Frank because it's my favorite movie of all time, besides The Silence of the Lambs. Jake says, maybe post-COVID recorders will go away and there will be a musical renaissance among young people. You know what, Jake? I think after the apocalypse, the only thing that will survive are the hard plastic recorders that everyone has in a shoebox in their closet. That'll be the only form of music that we have. Just freaking recorders and harmonicas. That'll be the only thing left. Everyone will check their guitar cases and they'll find a harmonica therein. Maybe the guitars will be rotten and broken, but you will definitely have a harmonica somewhere. And everyone will be annoyed around you because you'll be playing the harmonica. I don't know about you, but the harmonica, I don't want to hear you practicing it. Every other instrument, I'm happy to listen to you play and practice. But the harmonica always just sounds like it's unintentional. I hate on the harmonica, but then there are people like John Popper who are incredible harmonicists. The guy is an incredible harmonica player. However, I don't want to hear you practice. Sorry. You guys and your recorders and your harmonicas. Imagine that. You know what? Next thing you're going to see is me in a band that's just all harmonicas and recorders, because I'm going to try to prove a point. Bass recorders. Harmonicas are crazy because you got to get the ones that are in different keys. So you're always like looking at your harmonica and checking to see what key it's in. Pulling them out, because if you get the wrong one, you're going to have to play like one note the whole time. Because usually there's like one common note across all keys and stuff. Or one or two or three or four maybe. Stroke here says, oh man, I was obsessed with the harmonica a couple years. I wasn't any good though. You know, Shy, I don't think anyone's ever good at the harmonica. I think you could fake it. I think it's one of those instruments where you can't really go wrong. It's like the black keys on a piano. You know what I'm saying? Not just the black keys like the band, but the black keys on the piano. I think that's why they call themselves the Black Keys. Let me give you an example. I'm just going to play the Black Keys on this piano. I played a white key by accident. Everything sounds good on like that. You could play the Black Keys all day long and it sounds beautiful. So when you're playing a harmonica, It's in a specific key, usually tuned to chords in that key. See, you know, listen, Bruce Willis, I know you like to bring out the harmonica on talk shows, but you're Bruce Willis, and, you know, that's part of the charm. People give you lots of points for being Bruce Willis already. People are like, yippee-ki-yay, uh-oh, he's got the harmonica. Uh-oh, watch out. Uh-oh, Bruce Willis is going to play the harmonica now. Can't you just tell jokes, Bruce Willis? You're pretty funny and charismatic on your own. Stop with the harmonica. I'm grumpy about the harmonica. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having a meltdown about a harmonica. I don't know. You could just do that all day long and it sounds good. It's called the pentatonic scale. Now, the pentatonic scale is derived from actual overtones in nature. If you hit a fundamental tone, the second fundamental would be the octave. Well, the first fundamental is the octave. The second fundamental is the octave. The third is the frickin' major fifth. So you go. We're going to have a music lesson today. Welcome. Hey guys, if you want to do like guitar lessons with me, I need a gig. Just hit me up, DM me, and we'll Zoom a guitar lesson. You know, I'm not too proud. Let's get the music going. Happy to bestow musical knowledge onto people that I've gathered over the decades. I am a fan of all kinds of musics, and I like to do man, my Chinese parents would be so envious. You know, it's funny, Shai, you bring up Chinese parents, lineage, because the pentatonic scale is very, that is very Asian. That is like Asian music styles have a lot of pentatonic scale basses, which is dope as F. You can listen to a lot of that. There's so many beautiful Chinese instruments that and Japanese instruments for that matter. You got to check them out. There are some like really dope musical pieces in those styles. That Western music, I don't know how often like an orchestra will play these types of pieces, but you know, we're so used to listening to 12-tone music, Western music from Europe, Anglo-Saxon music from Germany, Austria, England. These are the styles of music that we are used to, accustomed to. But if you go a little bit east, you end up with like polka. All right? I don't know if you're a fan of polka. It might be more traditional, but I'm not the biggest fan of polka, but it gets pretty crazy in like Eastern Europe with like the polka. But you keep traveling east from there, you're going to end up with some Southwest Asian music. And then you're going to end up in the eastern part of Asia, which has more of this kind of sound. Kind of that beautiful, like, overtone. Oh, here. Kind of like this, what's playing in the background. You meant you can't play instruments. They didn't Tiger Mom me hard enough. Oh, no. The Tiger Mom situation. You know, I feel that way too sometimes. Like, I feel like if not, my mom's watching, but I had a deep interest in music as a very young kid. However, I remember, you know, I guess the situation I grew up in wasn't like very, like I really wanted to play drums in 4th grade. Sorry, Mom. I wanted to play the drums really bad. But we couldn't afford the drums, so I couldn't play the drums. But so I had to like basically really like I would just play everyone else's instruments that I knew. Like I had like this ravenous musical appetite. So we got like little keyboards, little toy keyboards and stuff. I still have one in my closet, the SK5, the Casio SK5, which is my brother's technically. But I put it on this album. I put the SK5, a sample of it, on an album I recorded because it was one of the first instruments I got to play on all day. And but even an instrument like that, is it's enough to keep you. It's like it keeps you going until you can get a proper instrument when you're older. But in high school, yeah, I remember I would just like play all of my friends' guitars because I couldn't quite get one yet. And then I worked for a year or a season at a greenhouse, and I saved up $330 and I bought a guitar when I was a kid. I needed an electric guitar, so I spent spring working, and I bought this guitar, this electric guitar, and got lessons. And I paid $12 a lesson with my guitar teacher Mike for several years, and learned how to play. And it was a reverse Tiger Mom situation. I really, really needed to play music, so I would just play it all day and all night. And I got my own instrument, and I did my own thing. Sometimes the Tiger Mom situation it backfires, Shy, though, because if you had a Tiger Mom and it's I don't know, it seems to be a method that works for a lot of people, because you get a lot of outstanding children and who become outstanding young adults. So far, I don't know if any of them have shot up a crowd of people yet from frustration from being so disciplined as kids. But it probably actually stops you from doing that because it gives you an outlet to become creative and whatnot. There are different methods to learning music. I'm going into like a music lecture now. The Suzuki method, which is where you learn how to play music just like how we learn how to speak. You learn how to play the music first. Now, that's an interesting style. I kind of believe in that. You learn how to play music first just by ear, and instead of just reading the sheet music. So that's like how we talk. We learn to talk before we learn how to read. So that school of philosophy teaches people to just pick up an instrument and learn how to play things in the correct key and to the correct rhythm before you learn the actual notation. It's cool. I prefer that method. I remember in high school when I would watch kids playing music in the orchestra, I'd just be like, you're not really playing. You're just looking at the notes and then putting your fingers in the right place. You're not listening to what's going on around you, are you? Some kids were like that. Some kids were into the music. Some kids could play all of the notes at the right time, but just with zero soul. Now, speaking of Bruce Willis, I'm sorry. What was I talking about, Bruce Willis? Kidding. The Bacon Brothers. Nobody's mentioned the Bacon Brothers. How do you not mention the Bacon Brothers? There's 50% acting in that band. Ice Cube. The Suzuki method, you're triggered. It's so beautiful. Music as an education was a big part of the Chinese curriculum. But I was a bad kid, so they made me play the triangle. Now, Shy, I feel your pain about the triangle, okay? They might as well have given you the wood block. Because the wood block, I remember before I could play an instrument, I would go to music class and I would want to play all the percussion instruments because I could just touch them and make them work with my hands. The triangle, however, that's a badass instrument. You had an opportunity there, Shy. You had an opportunity to become like a badass triangle player. Because you can be like sick as on the triangle. I know it's a much maligned instrument, the triangle. However, so was the recorder, and so is the harmonica, much maligned by me, that is. But the triangle is not a bad instrument. I mean, it may appear limited. However, Shy, I understand being relegated to an instrument that's only like, it seems very basic, as it were. It's a very basic B instrument. However, I think, let me find a triangle solo here. I'm gonna just play this triangle solo because some people are dope at the triangle. I'm not even joking you right now. Check this out. Let's see. Oh, that guy's going off the rails. No, that's a joke. Stop this guy from... He's just lampooning the triangle. Get out of here, guy. We need to know. We need to see a real triangle solo. That's sick. There are some amazing triangle solos. I hope I don't get a copyright strike for this. I probably will. But here we go. This guy's going to be dope. Oh no, he sucks. Oh, here we go. Let's be soloing with it. That's too loud. That guy's getting down. That could have been you, Shy. That could have been you. All right, that guy was a little bit nuts on the triangle. We don't need that. Advanced triangle. Here we go. Today's show is dedicated to the triangle, and it is not dedicated to the harmonica nor the recorder. Although the bass recorder is badass. Dig it. Yeah. This is Shy in an alternate universe, the greatest triangle player on the face of the planet. It's pretty nasty. It's pretty nasty. This is an achievement unlocked. This dude is like top level triangleist. It does, sometimes it can sound like a wind chime falling down the stairs, but he's better than Ed Grimley. Like, wow, okay. Like, oh my god. What was Ed Grimley's catchphrase? I must say, he is much better than Ed Grimley, I must say. Those characters. Ed Grimley's a funny character. Alright, I'm going to fade out this triangle solo. Fading it out. It'll come back, though. You were 5 years old, dude. Dude is popping the triangle playing. Pretty pop. Yeah, you were 5 years old, but surprise, this dude is 3.5. Kidding. Shy, I kid you. This dude is probably not an exclusive triangle player. I guarantee it. I guarantee he plays at least the harmonica too. But yeah, it's not a bad instrument. Not a bad instrument. Pat Sajak was his idol. Sajak, I think every way you spell Sajak is the right way. Kayleen, I wouldn't really worry about it. V Forte, my sister. Not to make a convo go crazy, but have you found their younger years of growing up? Did you see the competition? I was a female violinist or voice, and others wanted to tear me down. Don't let anyone tear you down at your triangle, Shy. Sorry about the music tangent. No, this episode is based on the music. Shy, we're talking about musicians who are actors who are musicians. This triangle player has dedicated his life to playing the triangle. It is not a good actor at all. I love to talk about music. We could talk about music every day if you like. Oh, well, I like the musical tangents too. That's like my favorite thing in life. Music and movies is what I do. Join me every day at noon, and we could talk about movies and music all day long. It's weird. Now, I'm going to say this, and it might sound like a tiny little violin to keep the musical analogies going, but the world right now is weird for us musicians. I'll say this because if you want to, now you got to think about this for a second, and it's going to blow your mind. But if you wanted to listen to any form of music 125 years ago, if you wanted to hear music 130 years ago, and before that, throughout the history of the universe, or the world anyway, this one we live in, you had to get a musician to play it. We live in a world right now where we don't have musicians that are hired at that level anymore. If you wanted to dance, someone had to play the drums. Someone had to play music. It's crazy. And I know it sounds like, oh, too bad for you musicians, because guess what? Things have changed. Obviously, we started to be able to broadcast music through the radio and record it and reproduce the performance every time. So you can perform it on a recording and then have it reproduced over and over again ad infinitum in this planet. You can get like the BET Awards last night and watch all these beautiful, fabulous performances performed in musical fashion and then broadcast to 100 million people. 100 million people watching one performance instead of hiring all of the musicians to play at those locations. So as a musician, I say support your local musicians. Every time I see a musician on the street playing the triangle, say, even the harmonica, I give them money. I give them money out of my pocket because that musician performing for you at a high skill usually, at a skill where you're like, this guy or woman or kid playing at this level should be like doing this for a living because that is who they are. They are a musician at heart. If you see someone on the street playing music, that is their relegation in life. That is who they are. They are a musician. Humans have forever had musicians floating around, muses. We come in the room and then we start playing an instrument and musing and people start to dance and move to it. And this has always been the case up until like the last 100 years where you could just play the radio. You can play a recording. But I mean, the good part about that is that now everybody can hear the music whenever they want. The bad part about that is the musician, what do? I'm wearing a shirt that says Detroit. Detroit is the hub of like the greatest American music, Motown. All of those musicians in Motown created memorable piece of music like My Girl. That dominant chord in the beginning, down, 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 that pattern was written by the guitar player. He was paid a musician's fee for the session, a couple $100 that day when he created one of the most iconic riffs in musical history. Yet the recording goes to, you know, the musicians who played, the musicians who recorded that, the vocal group. So the Four Seasons, I think it is. Let me know if I'm right about that. But we got 2 minutes left on Instagram. If you'd like to continue the conversation, jump over to AristotleFullThrottle.com and we'll finish up there. Or you can go to my Twitter and we'll be there too. Aristotle Dreyer. So musicians get the short end of the triangle. Let's say it's an isosceles triangle. Musicians get the shortest leg. Thank you. Jake, you might appreciate that mathematical analogy. That geometric analogy. If this is a triangle, it ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I hope someone got that joke. Jake, you got that joke if you're still watching. Now my sister wants a triangle. Well, your birthday's coming up. Chris's is next and then yours. Yeah, I tell you. If there's anything you can come away from today's episode is that if society were a Oh, Jake says he sucks at math. But, you know, Kayleen, if you were a triangle, you'd be scalene. Thank you. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are the 3 types of triangles I'm going to leave you with. Since we had such a concentrated discussion on the triangle, we've got 20 seconds left here on Instagram. Scalene, isosceles, and right. Yeah. I'm going to say that one more time. If it were a triangle, it ain't right. All right, see you guys later. All right, we're still here on YouTube. Don't worry. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to share that on Instagram. Instagram only gives you 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day. What can you do in an hour? Well, you could probably do like at least two calculus problems, derivatives. Yeah, I hated math. I could understand it and grasp it and do math, but I didn't like it. You know what I mean, Jake? You might know what I mean. I didn't have an affinity for math. I was like, I get how this works. It's kind of a pain in the ass. One of the things I did like to do, however, was balance chemical equations in chemistry. I don't know why. It just seemed very easy and fun. I was like, well, if you've got this many NaCl's on this side, you're going to have to get an HCl over there. You need to balance the amounts. How many moles? I liked all that stuff. I don't know why. It just seemed fun. That's how Jake says he's good at Google, and that's how he gets by in life. You know, Jake, you and me, both. I actually foregoed grad school for Google. I was like, who needs to research academically when I could just research, I don't know, recreationally? So that's what I do now. I find out all the knowledge that I want to learn about, and I learn about it because we can at this point. And you can cross-reference and verify all the kinds of things you can do, because we live in a world where things are verifiably true and also falsifiably false. Like most of what the government is currently putting out, at least the White House press secretary. Guys, don't listen to the lies. Put on a mask. I haven't mentioned it once, but wear a mask. I did it at the beginning. Wear a mask. Stay 6 feet away. Your rights and all that stuff, that's a whole different bag of worms. I don't understand. I don't understand what people are like, my rights. Why don't, like, how come you're not out there, like, protesting some other thing right now? It's got to be the mask wearing. Why is it that people screaming at the top of their lungs, I have a breathing problem, I can't wear a mask? How are they able to scream? Stop it. Just wear a mask. It's going to be like a year of this. I was walking through Griffith Park the other day, and it was kind of ridiculous because I was walking through, and it was pretty funny. There was a dude. You know, I'm wearing my mask. I posted this on Twitter and on Instagram, but I'm wearing a mask. Everybody's wearing it. Most people are wearing a mask, so I'm not going to complain too much. But there was a dude. It was amazing. He was wearing a stormtrooper helmet, and he was walking through Griffith Park admonishing folks for not wearing a mask or not wearing a mask properly. And he was just going around. He's like, wear a mask, you gotta wear a mask, wear it up over your nose, bring it up over your nose. Going up to people, pull your mask up over your nose, please. It's like we've come to that level where you need a literal stormtrooper letting people know that they should be courteous to their fellow humans. I don't understand how, I videoed this guy. It was really funny. I surreptitiously videoed him and I put it up on Twitter. You guys are fabulous. You know, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate your support on Patreon. If you are supporting me on Patreon, if you'd like to wear some Aristotle's Full Throttle stuff for some reason, I'm going to work on designing some like cool ass clothes because I've got the time now. Not working. Not doing the things that I do best. I think I do best anyway. Or the things that I would like. I could spend indefinite amounts of time playing music and talking about movies. And where in the world do you have the ability to do this? K-Griff, we need all the Winter Soldier. We need to be the Winter Soldier in summer. We all need to, yes, we do need to wear the mask. I thought, I was wondering if you meant that or if you meant that we need to like freeze ourselves periodically and then perform assassinations throughout the summer. I don't know if that's what you meant, but the winter, we need to be the winter in the summer, I think is what you're saying. I'm not really quite sure. I hope that's what you mean. The Winter Soldier. Design masks. Great idea. Great idea, Killeen. I'm going to do that. Let me write it. I'm going to write this down on my things to do list. Stay organized. I'm going to write, first I'm going to write make a list. Second, I'm going to try to look for the list that I made already. So I got paper towels on my list. All right. Design masks with logo. Yeah. And then I'll design a mask, right? With my face on it. This is what my sticker looks like. And then I'll put like a mask on my sticker. So the mask will be on your mask, but then there'll be a mask on the mask. What do you think? We're just cranking out $1 million ideas on Aristotle Full Throttle today. But I think we've figured out that David Bowie was the greatest musician, actor, and Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson won an Oscar for Dreamgirls. She was incredible. I defy you to watch that scene where Jennifer Hudson is singing without breaking down. It's amazing. Oh, Jake A says he's brilliant idea, because this is how we can conserve inventory. Just cut the bottom of the sticker off. Just snip it. And then maybe wear it as your nose. Or yeah, or just the bottom. Yeah, just have this be your face. The bottom of the sticker. Let's see if we can reproduce this live. Yeah. There we go. Like this. This is what Jake means, I think. This could be you. One day this could be you. I think it's a good idea. I've got to get on this. I appreciate your support, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me every day. It's nice to see you. I hope you guys are having a happy Monday. I hope you guys are having a happy pandemic. You never know. Yes. So it's like we could all rock the Aristotle beard. Yeah, the Aristotle beard. Yeah, I'm catching up on some of these comments. This beard, I don't know. It's getting unwieldy. I'm just letting it go. I'm not doing anything to it. I'm a full-fledged neck beard now, and I don't care at all. I'll shave this whole part off. I'll shave that off. And I'll just be Mr. Neckbeard. Because I'm happy to represent the community. All of the marginalized communities I can represent. Person of color, also neckbeards. Neckbeards unite. That would be the most marginalized group, I think. And rightfully so. I'm kidding. Yeah. You guys are wonderful. We did talk about a lot of cool musicians today. We didn't mention Will Smith. Will Smith, good performer, good actor, excellent actor. Which we should probably, let's do like a speed round and then we'll head out. But what do you guys think? I know there's a little bit of a delay on YouTube, so it'll probably be about 20-second speed round each contestant here. Who is a better actor and a better than they are a musician, and vice versa? Madonna. Oh, this part is a cool part of the song. I'll wait. The question is she a better musician or is she a better actor? Madonna. We're waiting for responses when the delay goes through. Better actor, better musician. Madonna. Dancer, too. She's a dancer. Lest we forget she's a dancer. But today's not about that. It's about whether or not Madonna is a better actor or a better than she is a musician, or a better musician than she is an actor. I can give you my answer on that. Here's another one. Beyonce. Jake says musician. Jake says that Madonna is a better musician than she is an actor. Scarlett Johansson is here. I don't know why. I know why. Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson's a good actor. For real. She's actually legit. She's underrated. She doesn't do acting that much, but she's good at it. Jared Leto. How did we not mention Jared Leto? Played a show with Jared Leto back in the day in my rock and roll band. Me and my drummer Oliver. Jared Leto sings for 30 Seconds to Mars. I think he's a pretty good musician, but he's definitely a better actor than he is a musician. But he's a fantastic performer, like him or not. Madonna is a better musician, we say. LL Cool J, better musician, better or actor. Ice-T. I think a lot of these are better at music. Bradley Cooper, better musician or better actor? Bing Crosby. Good ones. Harry Connick Jr. Definitely, I think that's a hands down. He's a better musician, but he is a good actor. Most Def is also both. Yeah, K Griff says that Jedi is both good actor. And Mandy Moore is an excellent actor. I think she's a better actor than she came out. She was a pop musician before she was famously known for crying on TV a lot. Let's see. Beyonce wasn't amazing in Cadillac. Yeah, Beyonce has got so much charisma, and she is the Queen Bee. However, the Queen Bee, Beyonce does lack, like, when she was in Dreamgirls, she was freaking great performing-wise, but there's still something missing from her acting. Her performance, though, is next level. Like, Beyonce is next level. That's a math equation for you, Jake. She's next level. That's like squared. Her performance, that is. Jeff Bridges, much better actor than musician. Snoop Dogg is probably equally good at everything. Tupac, remember Tupac? I don't know why Leonardo DiCaprio's in this list. Bjork was in Dancer in the Dark, and Dancer in the Dark, she's really good. Yeah, there's something lacking. Tom Waits, guys. Tom Waits is one of my favorite guys to make fun of because he's legitimately talented. However, I don't buy into the Tom Waits allure. I don't think that Tom Waits is the mythical thing that he has created that so many people love and gravitate toward. Tom Waits is this guy, and he's like, I'm a tramp, I'm a hobo, I wear a hat and I wear fingerless gloves, and I'm Tom Waits and I talk like this. I'm Tom Waits. I'm Tom Waits. It's like, wait a minute, Tom Waits. You're in like 70 movies, and listen, Tom Waits, I don't think anybody behaves like you do in real life. I think that you're putting on an affect. I mean, I think that what you're doing is perhaps fictional. That you have created a character in which we gravitate toward because you're a mythic figure. Mr. Tom Waits, you're a poet, you're a performer, you're a musician, you're a writer, you're an actor. You are all of these things, Mr. Tom Waits, but however, I do not believe that you walk around, I'm tired, I got my fingerless gloves, and I don't know. That seems to be like a whole phony baloney. Yeah, it's his persona. It's a persona that he has created for the stage, ladies and gentlemen. He does not behave like this. He's not really like this. Nor, same thing with 9 Inch Nails. Nor is Trent Reznor covered in mud all day, screaming and crying. He's clearly a very methodical and ingenious musician who works with computers mostly. So he's a pretty introverted guy who understands the concept of music creation and emotion and writing, and he's a phenomenal musician and a phenomenal technician and songwriter and performer. But that whole dark like vibe that he's got going on where he's just crying all the time. I'm just crying. I'm a very sad crying emo guy. That's just all made up. Him and Tom Waits could get together on stage, but bottom line about Tom Waits is the dude's like a multi-millionaire, probably lives in a house in Malibu, probably visits Nobu on the weekends when it's open, and takes off his fingerless gloves when he's at home. I think that he and Bruce Springsteen have cultivated a persona of the working man. I'm just an average Joe However, they've lived a life of stardom since a very young age, and have cultivated a persona and an image that we gravitate toward, much like Beyonce. Do you think Beyonce is like that at home? You think that she's like, so she's Sasha Fierce when she's making eggs in the morning? No, she's paying someone to make eggs for her. I actually kind of do think that Beyonce is like that all the time. I do. I think she wakes up Sasha Fierce in the morning. She like gets out of bed just like this. Oh, the single ladies. Oh, the single ladies. She just like raises up. She floats out of bed like she is Dana Barrett in Ghostbusters. She floats 4 feet above her covers. What a lovely singing voice she must have. I think that that's true. Oh, Steven Van Sant. Great call, Kayleen. Great call, Steven Van Sant. Remember, he was Silvio. Takes me a minute. He was really good at Silvio because you know why? At first he was like a little bit of a, I mean, he was always kind of a caricature, but he's like, Silvio, right? Silvio. I come from that area of the country, the Northeast. So that show, The Sopranos, you're talking about Steven Van Sant playing Silvio in The Sopranos, one of the henchmen, one of the maidmen from The Sopranos, one of Tony Soprano's #1 guys. That dude, also, he killed the Adriana. That was, spoiler alert, but that was freaking, oh, that took my heart out, ripped my heart out. But that's the part of the country I'm from, and, you know, Steven Van Sant from the Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. He's the guy that's got the bandana on to cover up his baldness, and also he sings into the same mic with Bruce Springsteen. They sing into the same mic together all the time. It's a very charming moment for live performance to see the camaraderie come together on the stage like that, whether it's manufactured or not. I don't care. I enjoy it. I paid to see you guys pretend to be just like me and then go home to your mansions. I kid. I'm being cynical. But when they do that, it's really fun to watch. Steven Van Sant is the guitar player. He's the guy with the bandana. But in the show, it's funny because he had that big toupee on all the time, and it was very, very, very obvious. And then he was in the show where he's in Sweden. Death Becomes Her. That movie is phenomenal. Robert Zemeckis, Death Becomes Her. 90s movie. That's also got Bruce Willis. Speaking of musician actors. Yeah, she does sleep. Beyonce sleeps like that to preserve her beauty. Well, I think we've covered every single possible combination of musicians / actors. Oh, we haven't talked about Russell Crowe. ScarJo and Tom Waits, their cover album. Tupac. Yeah, we do like them. Russell Crowe. I am in Les Miserables. But he kind of talks. He's like, I talk and sing. What are you, Jean Valjean? He jumps off of thing. I don't know. I didn't hate him in that movie. A lot of people make fun of him because they're like, oh, he can't sing. Not everyone can sing like Anne Hathaway. Not everyone can sing and cry and hit the wrong notes sometimes because she's crying and it's the emotion bleeding through into her music in Les Miserables, which won her an Oscar. Rightfully so. It was a really cool performance. Very affected. The most perfect time to have an actor like Anne Hathaway would be in a melodramatic musical feature like Les Miserables. Give her award for being who she is. Overly affected. Man, I'm off the rails today. I'm just making fun of people. I'm also, it's like backhanded compliments left and right. I'm like, she is really great at being overly affected. You should give her an award for that. It sounds sarcastic and cynical, and it might sound that way because it is. I'm just kidding, guys. You know I have love in my heart for all of these people. I appreciate all types of people, except if they're trying to hurt people on purpose. I don't like people like that, like Donnie Wahlberg. I'm kidding. Rihanna, she's in Disturbia. I do want to talk about funny songs that are the title soundtracks songs to movies, like Disturbia, where they just crowbar in the title of the song as the hook of the song, where she's like, Disturbia. And you're like, that's what you came up with? Disturbia? It's a weird word. It doesn't mean anything. It sounds like it means something, but when you don't know how to use a word, you just use it as the chorus. Anne was a great Catwoman, and Colossal as was fantastic. I hadn't seen Colossal yet, but she was a great Catwoman. I think that was a good choice. I think that there was several things that made The Dark Knight Rises, which you're referring to, that made that movie weaker than the other movies that preceded it, on account of the fact that, sadly, Heath Ledger left us with no warning before he left, and won an Oscar after that. Heath Ledger exited stage right too soon, and we didn't get the Dark Knight Rises that was originally proposed, which was going to be the final showdown between the Joker and Bane and all of these other characters and the Scarecrow. What I loved about the Nolan trilogy, and we could talk about this at length. Oof, I'm 21 minutes past 1 already, so I should probably wrap it up because I've got responsibilities to keep life basically in stasis right now. We're all in stasis, but I think that the original Dark Knight trilogy by Christopher Nolan was intended to be cumulative. That is, each villain would carry over to the next sequel and carry over to the next sequel. Because if you recall, Scarecrow is in all 3 of the Dark Knight trilogy. I think he was to add a new villain every time and to make it seem insurmountable by the time we got to the Dark Knight, the 3rd movie in the Dark Knight Rises series, or the Dark Knight series. By the time we got there, we were going to be like, wow, Batman's a bit older and he's got all of these foes who keep escaping. That would have been fascinating to see. It seems quite obvious to me that scene in The Dark Knight Rises, where Scarecrow is sentencing people to walk across the lake of ice, or the river of ice, the frozen river, to fall through the ice or make it to the other side for freedom, basically. That seems to me to be a Joker role in the movie. It seems to me obvious that concept was originally conceived as a Joker ploy. It doesn't seem like a Scarecrow thing. It doesn't seem like a Scarecrow thing to do, like a chaos thing. It's like, well, if you make it to the other side, you're free, but if you fall through, you're dead. That seems like a Joker thing to do. Scarecrow would have done something relating to scaring you. Literally. That's not Scarecrow's deal, but I think it was such a compelling concept that kept it in, and they switched that role to the Scarecrow. What do you guys think about that? That's my theory anyway. I'm disappointed that nobody did anything in JGL's character after The Dark Knight Rises. JGL's character? Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, yeah. Robin, you mean? Well, I think they just wanted to keep the movie, that trilogy, feeling like there was things existing before it and that there will be things existing after it. Yet this is the 3 movies that we get to see in medias res, in the middle of the story. So I think it's okay to feel like the story is in, like, the original Star Wars trilogy. It's okay to feel like we are thrust into a world. Batman Begins, though, really does guide you through all of the motivations as to why we got there. I do like, however, also the original Batman with Michael Keaton, the original Batman feature film, not including the one from the 60s, but the one from the 80s, 1989's Batman with Tim Burton. I think that was a really cool way to introduce Batman and medias res. Like, he's already Batman and he's already been doing Batman things. And we're just thrust into that story. It was really cool. Oh, the Nolan Scarecrow is very good. Cillian Murphy is pretty amazing. I agree, Shy Tang. Cillian Murphy and Jared Leto have been taking the fountain of youth drugs because they look exactly the same as they did 25 years ago. What is up with that? Tell me what's going on there. Yes, K. Griff, Keaton is coming back. We did talk about that yesterday. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. I do, however, have to wrap this up. And I am very grateful for all of you for joining me. I'm grateful to all of you for joining me and helping make my day happier. I hope that you guys have gotten some kind of amusement out of the show, which is my goal. I hope that we can all learn to be kind to one another. There's some people out there who are legitimately belligerent, people who just enjoy getting a rise out of people, and we don't need any of that here. We just want to have a good time. We just want to have fun. We want to enjoy life for what it is and make sure that we can perpetuate good vibes. Perpetuating good vibes. I'm going to put that on my business card. I'm in the business of perpetuating good vibes. I don't know about you, but yeah, we're gonna end it on this. All right, guys. You guys are the greatest. And I will see you tomorrow at noon. Remember, this week is it's the 4th of July. But I think we should switch it to Juneteenth, guys. What do you think? Or women's suffrage. That should be the true Independence Day of America, when everybody was afforded the right to vote, because then that means everybody was considered part of the society. Thank you, Shy, for another awesome episode. You guys are what make this so much fun for me, and I hope this gives you some kind of regularity in life. I hope to be the Muselix. I hope to be the Metamucil of your day. I hope that I help cleanse your spirit and give you a good vibe, send you off with a good vibe. I'm in the business of perpetuating good vibes. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. I'm Aristotle, Full Throttle, your bro in the know with the fro, and I'll see you tomorrow.